Hi, everybody. This is Tony with BlessedTravelVacations.com, and today we are on the Carnival Celebration. It is a beautiful ship. We're amongst the first to ever sail on Carnival Celebration, but today we are not going to stay on board. We're here in Cozumel. We're actually going to get off the ship. We're taking an excursion. We're going to Xcaret. So if you ever wondered if Xcaret is as beautiful as they say that it is, well, come on board. We'll show you whether it's worth it for your next excursion here in Cozumel. Check it out. Hey everybody, this is Tony with BlessedTravelVacations.com, and today we are taking an excursion to Xcaret. Now, most of you guys will take a cruise down to the Caribbean, especially if you take the Western Caribbean, and one of the stops, it's probably the most popular stops for most cruise ships, is Cozumel. Now, Cozumel is an island that's located just outside of Cancun in the Yucatan Peninsula. And most ships will offer the excursion to go to Xcaret. Now, you can do that on Royal and Carnival and NCL and a bunch of other ones. In this case, we actually booked it through Carnival's website. We were on the Carnival Celebration. And I always recommend that you do the Xcaret excursion through the cruise lines. And they'll guarantee that they'll bring you back on the board, and they'll make sure that you have a good time. So your day starts off pretty early, so you want to make sure that you get up early in the morning and have breakfast. I recommend it. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a tiring day. So get up early, have breakfast, and then you're going to meet your party at one of the lounges, or they'll have a meeting spot. You'll get your tickets typically a day or 2 days before in your stateroom. And so you'll meet with them, and they'll meet early in the morning. And then as a group, you walk down to the boat. It's about a 45-minute ferry ride from the boat to the dock in Playa del Carmen. Now, that boat ride, that ferry ride, could be quite rough. We've been on it when it's really rocking and moving, and the waves could get pretty high. And so if you need any kind of Dramamine or seasickness pills, I would take that before you start to feel sick. I also recommend that you go up on top, and there's typically on these shuttles, there's 3 levels. There's a bottom level that's air conditioned, so when it's hot, it's nice to be down there, but it's all enclosed, and so you'll typically feel a lot of the movement. The second level has some enclosed areas, and then also an outside area there where you can sit out there and get some fresh breeze and just kind of look at the horizon. That definitely helps with seasickness. And then oftentimes they have a third level, which is where we sat on. So after a 45-minute boat ride from Cozumel down to Playa del Carmen, you'll arrive at the port and you'll disembark. And then there's about a 5-minute walk to where the buses will be waiting for you. What's really nice about doing the excursions through the cruise lines is that they'll assign a guide with you, and that guide will be with you from the moment that you arrive there in Playa del Carmen all the way back, and make sure that you get on that boat. So the bus rides are really comfortable. They're going to be through an air-conditioned bus, and you're going to go through the city there and just enjoy the nice ride. You'll typically have a tour guide that speaks both Spanish and English. Carla did a really great job with us and just kind of explained to us all the little details. A lot of times on these excursions with the ships, there's not a lot of time in port, so you have to really pay attention as to the meeting time and the meeting location. You don't want to be late when it's time to get back on that boat. All right, so when you arrive in Xcaret, again, that's about a 30 to 40-minute bus ride from, the port where you load on the bus, to Xcaret. Once you arrive there, the guide will walk you through a meeting area. They'll go get the wristbands, which you'll use for the entry. And once you've got the wristbands, you'll go through the entrance. And Xcaret Park is absolutely beautiful, and it is just massive. There's no way you can see everything in a day, especially if you're on a cruise sport excursion, because you just don't have enough time. Really, Xcaret Park, I would imagine, is probably a 2-day full days excursion. So if you ever want to go back and really enjoy the park and everything there is to see there, you definitely want to go and stay on a land-based trip there, maybe even Xcaret Hotel, and you could definitely book that here with us at Blessed Travel Vacations. All right, one of the things you'll notice that on the Xcaret as you're walking in, there's going to be on the floor bricks or rocks that are colored. And there's different colors. There's blue, green, white, black, and they lead you to different parts of the park. The park, again, is massive, and you can easily get lost and get just kind of confused. So the black lines will lead you to the rivers, which is where I recommend you start. The rivers are really, to me, the highlight of being in Xcaret. Okay, so when you are there and you're ready to get into the river, you've got a couple of options. They do have lockers there that you can put your bags in, or another alternative is they have these big duffel bags, and you can put your bags in those duffel bags, and they put a lock, and you keep that key so that you have the only key to open that lock. They'll take those duffel bags to the end trail of that river so that you can retrieve those bags, and that way you don't have to walk all the way to the front to pick up your bags from the locker. That's very convenient. Everybody that gets in the river, you will need a life vest, and it's the stylish pink one. So if you're hoping that you'll get a nice neoprene one, I'm sorry, you're going to be out of luck. All right, there are 3 rivers. These are underground rivers in Xcaret to choose from. The Blue River, the Pre-Hispanic River, and the Manatee River. And these 3 rivers flow into the sea. They're about 16 and a half feet underground, so they're underground rivers, and they range in depth from 5 feet to a little over 5 feet. In most cases, you can touch the ground, but in some cases, you can't touch the ground, or if you do, your head will be underwater. And so the life vest will just make it kind of easy for you. And I recommend there's going to be a little bit of a pull with the water. It's going to push you down a little bit, but not a lot. It's not a fast flowing river by any means. So you do need to either swim a little bit. There's also a rope on the side of the wall there that you can use to pull yourself. I do highly recommend that you wear water shoes or something. I would not go barefoot. And the reason for that is because the ground is rock, and you're going to easily scrape up, and you can scrape your knees and scrape your feet. So definitely take shoes. I also recommend, if you're going to be doing the rivers, and you absolutely should, I wouldn't go to Xcaret without doing at least 1, possibly 2 rivers. You want to take a waterproof camera, like a GoPro, or if you're going to take your cell phone, you certainly can. But I would purchase some high quality waterproof cases for them. I would not get them from one of the vendors there in Xcaret. They're pretty cheap, and they'll definitely leak. So I would get some really good quality ones. After all, you probably have a very expensive phone, and the difference between a $10 waterproof case and a $30 one, not that much of a difference in price compared to the price of a new phone. But sometimes the build quality, that could be all the world. All right. So there's parts of this river, or these rivers, the 3 rivers, where you're going to be outside and you see a lot of really beautiful natural light. And again, keep in mind, you're in the middle of a jungle. It's just absolutely gorgeous. So you hear the animals, and you see these just amazing vegetation, and some of it you're going to be outdoors, and some of it you're going to be in a cave. It's going to be dark, and so it's fine. It's not scary at all. You're swimming with a lot of people there, so you'll be okay. But just be forewarned, if you're afraid of dark spaces, certainly that will you'll encounter that on your journey down the river. One other side note I want to let you know, you may or may not want to hear this part, but for me, one of my favorite spots of the river, and I've encountered them in two of the three rivers, is they have bats, and they're really, they don't attack you or anything like that, but it's just kind of neat, and it's kind of cool to see everyone's reaction to the bats, and they're there and they're friendly. I probably wouldn't pet one, but they're there, and it's just kind of a cool part of it. So from start to finish, it takes about 40 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the speed that you go down the river. You can swim, or you can kind of stop by a little bit. So from the beginning to the end, it takes about 45 minutes. There's multiple places where you can take pictures, and they've got photo spots there where you can scan your wristband, or you could take a picture there, and then you could purchase those pictures at the exit. So that's kind of neat to have a little memory there. Towards the end of the river, you're going to pass the mangroves, and you'll pass it. It's just so neat. You've got mangroves there, and you've got these like these trees, and it's just a really awesome spot. Great place to take pictures, and most of the time, because the three rivers end in the same spot, they merge at the end. So they start very similar in spaces, but then they kind of go in their different directions, and then at the end they kind of come together. Whereas where you'll find the Xcaret sign, so you can get off there and take pictures. Again, the water is flowing, so if you want to just stop and stand up and take a picture, it's going to be very difficult to do because the river does take you, and it does exit all the way out to the sea. All right, and then at the conclusion of the rivers, you're gonna exit, and that's where you'll give the staff there your key, and they'll retrieve your bag. You can open your bag, and there your belongings will be there. I really recommend, even though they're gonna take pretty good care of it, I'd recommend you don't put anything glass or anything that's fragile in your bag. Leave that back on the ship. Just, if you've got a wallet or credit cards or whatever, it's probably pretty safe to leave it there. But again, you've got the key the whole time. And then once you've retrieved your belongings and you've given them back the stylish pink life vest, they've got showers there. You can rinse off and kind of clean up a little bit. Very clean restrooms. Just a very clean park. There's great places to go out and eat. You're probably going to be hungry at that time. It's probably closer to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and there's going to be lunchtime. And so there's great places. They have a la carte where you can order off a menu. They've got a buffet there. And we really recommend it. The parrilla is incredible. Lots of different types of meat. And one parrilla will easily serve a family of 4. Now, Xcaret is more than just the rivers. They've got beautiful white sand beaches. There's lots of activities. They've got jaguars and animals and flamingos and these kind of cool little creatures. I have no idea what they are, but they've got some Mayan ruins. They've got so many wonderful things to see in Xcaret that you certainly can't fit it into one day. But I definitely recommend that you keep an eye on the clock. In fact, throughout the day, you'll see your guide that'll be walking around and just kind of reminding people of the time and what time you have to meet at the exit, because they want to make sure that they get you back on the ship. So even though your ship is leaving at 5 o'clock, a lot of times they'll tell you that you need to meet at 1:30 or 2 o'clock, which may seem like, wow, I wish I had more time here. The problem's going to be is that they need to make sure that everybody gets on board the bus, and they've got to bus you back to the Playa de Carmen, where you're going to take that the water taxi or the shuttle, and that's another 45 minutes, and then they're going to leave you there in the town, and you can walk through and do a little bit of shopping before you board your ship again. They just want to make sure that you don't miss out on the wonderful shopping that you can do in Cozumel. All right, everybody. I hope you really have enjoyed the this excursion. I recommend it if you've never done Xcaret. There's a lot of wonderful things to do when you take a cruise to Cozumel. You can go see Tulum. You can see Chichen Itza. You can do things right there in Cozumel. There's just a lot of wonderful things to do. But if you've never done Xcaret, make sure on your next cruise that you do Xcaret. And if you are thinking about going on a cruise down to the Caribbean and you want to do Xcaret, and this video has gotten you excited about what you can do with your family and they can have a great time, make sure you give us a call or go to our website at blessedtravelvacations.com and give us a call and let us know that you're looking to book a cruise, and we'll help you pick that perfect cruise for you and your family, and we'll get you on that excursion. All right, everybody, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate it. If you would just do me a huge favor and subscribe to our channel and like our videos, we'd really appreciate the support. Have a blessed day.